Have you ever plugged your awesome PlayStation controller into your PC, all set to jump into a game, and then just nothing? It is super frustrating, right? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the magic solution, a brilliant little piece of software called DS4Windows. So, what's the deal? Why does your high-tech DualSense controller get the cold shoulder from so many PC games? The answer is actually pretty simple. They're speaking completely different languages. You see, your PlayStation controller sends out signals in its own native tongue, which we can call raw input. But most PC games, especially on Windows, they're not listening for that. They're built to understand a very specific language called XInput. That's the standard that Xbox controllers use. So you've got this total communication breakdown. The game's listening for one thing, and the controller is saying something else entirely. And that is exactly where our hero, DS4Windows, comes into the picture. If the controller and the game can't talk to each other directly, you need an interpreter, right? A universal translator to bridge that gap. And that is precisely what DS4Windows is built to do. Think of DS4Windows as a real-time interpreter running on your computer. It grabs all that raw input from your PlayStation controller, whether it's an old DS3, a DS4, or the new DS5, and on the fly, it translates it into the X input that your PC and games are actually expecting. It essentially puts your PlayStation controller in a very convincing Xbox controller disguise. So how does this digital translation actually work? Well, it's not just one magic switch. It's actually a really clever 5-step process that takes every single button press on a journey from your controller through your PC and right into the game itself. So what does that journey look like? Well, it all starts with a simple connection. Then the software reads the controller's every move. After that, the real magic kicks in with the translation and the creation of a sort of ghost controller, all before the game finally gets the message. Let's break each of these down. All right, step 1, the easy part. You just have to connect your PlayStation controller to your PC. You can either just plug it in with a normal USB cable, or you can pair it up wirelessly over Bluetooth. Simple as that. Now, once you're connected, DS4Windows gets to work. It's just running quietly in the background, listening. And I mean, it is listening to everything. It's not just the button presses and stick movements. It's capturing the subtle pressure you put on the analog triggers, every single click and swipe on the touchpad, and even all the data from the internal gyroscope and motion sensors. It hears every last thing your controller is trying to say. And this right here is the heart of the whole operation. All of that raw data it just collected, every press, every tilt, every swipe, is instantly converted into the matching XInput command that games understand. This is the core translation. But just translating the signal isn't quite enough. Your computer still needs something to receive that signal. The game is looking for a physical Xbox controller to listen to. So how do you solve that problem? Well, with a little secret ingredient, a super important piece of software called the VGem bus driver. And here it is, the final piece of this puzzle. The VGem bus driver basically creates a fake, but totally functional Xbox 360 controller inside of Windows. Now, it's not a physical thing you can hold, but as far as your PC is concerned, it's the real deal. It's like a digital ghost that becomes the mouthpiece for your PlayStation controller. So now that translated XInput command gets sent directly to this virtual Xbox controller. The game sees the signal, thinks it's from a real Xbox pad, and just responds. You press the X button on your PlayStation controller, your character jumps. The whole process is completely seamless. You'd never even know it's happening. So, after that whole 5-step journey, what's the actual result for you, the gamer? What does this elegant little process unlock? Well, it's exactly what we wanted from the start: seamless gaming. Because this whole translation is happening, you can now use your PlayStation controller wirelessly over Bluetooth, even in games that normally wouldn't support it. You can actually use those amazing gyro sensors for aiming or steering, which is a total game changer. And most importantly, you get full compatibility with a massive library of PC games, giving you the freedom to use what many people think is a more comfortable and feature-packed controller. It's pretty incredible when you stop and think about it, isn't it? DS4Windows is this powerful, invisible translator, just making 2 different pieces of tech talk to each other perfectly. And it really makes you wonder, what other digital translators are running silently in the background of your life, making all your gadgets and devices work together in ways you don't even notice?